podcast, so I guess I really shouldn't use the word we. Nothing's gone wrong or anything like that. More or less that we've been very busy this week and actually this month and haven't had time to sit down and do a podcast. So I figured today we'd do a solo podcast, just me and you and my voice. Today we're going to talk about just more or less what we did this past month and what's going on next month. I'd like to do a theme, but honestly, if there's not a group of people to talk to and stuff like that, it may be a little difficult. So, as many of you may have noticed, we've actually got a few new things up this past month. You know, the experiences, the more vlogs and stuff like that. I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but we are going to try and keep that up. We are going to try and keep up, like, if we don't have an investigation to come up, we want to keep other stuff going. You know, we live a supernatural life, and we want to try and share it with you more. Of course, we do more than we can record, so half the time it's really hard, or we have a lot of videos in stock that we haven't been able to edit because of time. Like, I'm editing a vlog right now. Cancer Roger is editing a investigation, and it gets not overwhelming per se, but just it takes a lot of time, and we, with us being busy and stuff, it just takes time. So we are really trying to keep stuff out, pushing out. We're excited to show what comes. I mean, there is a lot that we are doing right now, and we have upgraded, and just where we were from last year to where we are this year is amazing. I mean, April 1st last year, so April 1st was just a couple days ago. I think I'm putting this out tomorrow. But April 1st last year was one of our first big investigations as a team, as the Zodiacs of what we are now. We were at the church in Felicity, and even though that came out like 6 to 8 months later, just because of, again, time and everything, that was our big investigation. And from a year ago to now, we've done a lot. It got a lot of experience. I mean, equipment wise, we have so much more, and I plan on getting more too. I financed some of this, so I'm trying to pay that off in order to get more, but I'm trying to get upgrades as we go. I want to keep a big stock of stuff, so that way, even if we don't need it, we have it, kind of thing, but also that way we can test it and have some more tools to use on the field. So I'm very excited to do that. So we're going to, you know, test some stuff. It's a very scientific way of doing these things, and people don't seem to but don't really understand. Basically, like, it's a bunch of, like, experimenting and seeing what works best and seeing what we can do to make our investigations better, you know, get better frequencies, get better, you know, reactions and such. So it's all a step, it's all a process, and I'm really excited to see how that goes. We are trying to work on, like, a new an old camera, trying to rebuild it, because it's actually one of the older ones that they use, like, in, like, old ghost, like, hunter shows and stuff like that. But it's a really good night vision, really good sound, but it's got some issues because it was used, and we really want to use that. However, it's just a process. I mean, it's got parts in it that doesn't really work with Windows 10, and trying to find ways around it. So there's a lot that's going on right now. And I mean, in the future, for this next coming month, we still have a lot to come out. I mean, the last place we went to was in Winchester, Indiana, and we plan on going more soon. The problem is that the weather is still kind of cold. But not just that, per se, we're waiting to figure out, like, who to call. We have locations, we have stuff lined up, but it's who do we need to talk to? Who's the highest up we can get a hold of to talk to for these places and such? And it is time consuming, but the truth is of the matter is finding the right number, finding the original number, finding the people. We do love going to door and going to houses and stuff like that and old locations, and we definitely want to do more abandoned places coming up. Graveyards are fun, but for us, we enjoy it a lot, so we probably will still do it. But for people like you watching us do different graveyards at a time, it might not it might get old. So we're trying to learn as we go, and we're excited for that. However, either way, you know, like I said, we do stuff on our own all the time, just trying to figure it out, and it's a process. And I don't know, I've enjoyed it. It's something about life itself moving forward from what we're doing for our lives moving forward, and seeing the changes and seeing how much a month can make, or 2 months, or a year, you know. So I guess that's the moral of the story, is change right now. But honestly, I'm going to say that this coming month, I want to get the Winchester, Indiana stuff out soon. We've already, like, reviewed it and such, and it's got some decent stuff. The entertainment value is probably higher than the count of stuff we got, but the stuff we got's really good. And I don't know, I really just enjoyed going. We went with Ghost Ruckus, and I love going out on investigations with them. I mean, they're very helpful, very good people, and like, I mean, they got really good finds on their YouTube page, which I actually, if I remember, so editor, which is me, please put in the link below, Ghost Ruckus's stuff. Thank you. But anyway, so like, I really am, like, I really enjoy hanging out with them. Like, even if we just sit and talk, I really enjoy hanging out with them. And in a para community as we have such, it's not hard to find good people, but it's hard to find people that, like, you want to constantly go out and do stuff with. Because sometimes you, as an investigator or a ghost hunter, you kind of have your own way of doing things. It's like being an artist and painting a certain way or drawing a certain way. You have your own style, and sometimes it's hard to mesh with people. You know, it doesn't mean you don't like to people with something, but with Ghost Ruckus, we mesh really well. We hang out and have a lot of good time really well, and I'm looking forward to doing more with them. I've done a lot with them in the past, actually probably more than I've, you know, recorded-wise, done with my team. You know, we went to Post Town, we went to, let's see, Indiana again. We went to, I don't know, multiple places. 4 or 5 places, a couple, multiple times, and I don't know. I just really enjoy hanging out with them. So definitely check them out. It's James and Lindsay. They're really cool people, and they mean really well. And actually, they I don't know if they want me to say it, but I'm going to say it. You know, they're getting married soon. So if you're hearing this, Lindsay or James, congratulations. I know I've said it before, but this is on a live stream. This is on a podcast. So it's forever immortality. Immortalated and more forever recorded? Yes. That's, yep. But honestly, though, like, thank you for all that you guys have done. Honestly, it means a lot. And if you're hearing this, I really appreciate you for listening to this. Thank you as well. And I can't wait to hang out with you guys again. Now, on to the next topic for the matter. Basically, what we have coming out on top of the para investigation, we have it's a para cafe. Spoiler alert. That's why it's hard to, you know, try and say that. But we also have more experience videos coming out. We want to do videos on, like, talking about what you guys have told us about your investigations, about, like, or not investigation, your experiences, and we really want to push that out, and, you know, talk about that, because we really appreciate you guys coming back to us in the community and talking about what's going on, what's, you know, what you've been through. And we really, at one point, we'd like to sit down and try and talk to all of you. Maybe we'll do a live stream, and I want you guys to, like, one at a time join us and tell us about your story, tell us about your stuff. I would really love to hear about it. I mean, I know everyone else would on the team. The para life is kind of like, I don't know, it's a lifestyle choice, you know, like, once you've kind of stepped into that pathway, it's who you are, you know, and it means a lot to us when we hear people tell us their stories and tell us about their locations. We can't always get back to all of them. Sometimes we get lost in the mist. Sometimes we just can't get a hold of you. So, but when we do, it really means a lot to us, and I really try and comment back on everything. I really do try and, like, at least like it if I don't have a reply, but so that you know that I've seen it. But, like, I try and reply to everything I can. It just gets very difficult at times, and if you are, like, ever commenting on our stuff and I don't message back or something, I apologize. I really do. I know we're not, like, huge or anything, but it does take a lot of time out of the day, surprisingly enough. It's not like, oh, here's 10 minutes of my day. It's when it can take a long time. So, and I'm a busy person. I work a 9 to 5, you know, I have a son. I like to keep my socializing going, but at the same time, I try and edit, I try and study. And it takes a lot out of my time. Like, realistically, my whole week is packed from top to bottom, usually doing stuff. To some stuff, it might seem minuscule, but it means a lot to me. I do try and take time out of my life to spend and hang out with friends and such. So it gets not overwhelming, because I'm not overwhelmed, which is a plus, but it gets very crowded with stuff to do. Like, today, for say, I have to edit a video, I need to finish working, I need to do a whole bunch, and by the end of it, it'll probably be time for me to go to sleep. So I enjoy it, though. I guess I'm talking a lot about myself, but it's a solo cast, so I hope this is entertaining. For the most part, though, I I'm looking forward to a lot of the things we got coming out. We have, I mean, on the board I'm looking at here, we have about, oh, I'd say 8, 9 locations and of like ready to go to. Half of them are like pretty much just set up, but it's always where we're at right now. It's that last step of getting that to push. Plus, we're also doing research on these locations as well, so it does take time to do a lot of research. It could be history, it could be knowledge. Mattering what it is, it just depends. One of the videos I'm planning on coming out that I'm editing today, more so, I've already been editing it, is a vlog where we study the mysteries of a park near us. It's a very high supernatural park, rather it be because of Bigfoot, missings, you know. There's a lot of people who've been killed at this park. Well, I won't say killed, but died at this park for mysterious reasons. There's a lot of sightings of different types of, like, you know, sightings of, you know, UFOs, cryptids, ghosts. There's a lot of places dedicated to it. And this park itself has, how do I put it, a big history, as in literally basically took a town underneath people's feet and built a park on top of it, and the spirits there are not happy. And we're trying to get down to the understanding on like where these locations exactly were, you know, and trying to figure out like who was there. And you know, there's a graveyard there that's super old, and I'm pretty sure those who may be like still around and being the aggressive type are still there, and my guess would be that they might be there for that reason. However, every spirit has a story, you know. Like, that's one thing that many people don't understand fully, is that like every spirit was once a person. You know, they have their own feelings, or had or have their own feelings. They, you know, memories. There's a reason why they're here, a reason that's so powerful that keeps them here. So remember that on your day-to-day, that like, you know, you're, you know, spending time with your kid, or you're dedicated to your family or house or materials or even animals. And the thing is that like that's a reason why those spirits are there, you know. Is it because of their marriage? Is it because of like a regret? Is it because of their, you know, they loved their family and they don't want to leave the house because it's the family they grew up in? You know, there's a story there, and I love trying to figure them out. Not every, you know, spirit or entity wants to speak back, and no matter how hard you try, sometimes you can't get that to tell you. But when they do tell you their story, or you figure out enough to understand their story, there's a feeling that you can't explain. It's very strong, very exhilarating. Like the fact that there is something that's talking to you, even though you can't see it, you can learn its whole story, and it's beautiful when it happens. It's not as common as I wish it would be, but that's what we're trying to figure out, you know, ways to make it easier on them to be more common. You know, it's not all about, oh, let's go find the unknown. Like, I love that part of it, don't get me wrong, but it's also trying to listen to those who can't speak anymore, in a sense. You know, I say speak as in a physical way. Technically, I guess they are speaking in a physical way, but not in a way that you can hear me right now. You know, it's someone that's kind of almost become silented, but they're trying to speak, and I'm trying to be one of those who listens. Me and my team and a bunch of other people, of course. But like, the thing is, to me, is that it's not about just ghost hunting, not about going to like find them and like exploit them and use who they are for that. Like, yes, we record stuff, yes, we try and understand it, and yes, we are trying to be more entertaining. However, that doesn't mean that we're trying to exploit their life like meaningfully, like, aha, I caught you, you're mine. You know, it's amazing when it happens, and I get overexcited when it happens, but in the end, it's still a person's spirit. So I try and understand why it's there, and that's one thing I think I've not missed on, but I've kind of stepped away from my roots a bit. I'm trying to come back to is like having emotions like they do, like in a sense of like, how do they feel, and I need to understand how they feel so I can talk to them in that manner. You know, oh, you know, you're sad about losing your child, and because of that, it was because of a decision you've done, like, and you hold on to that for your whole life. Like, I need to like be sympathetic, like, you know, not just, okay, like, where did you live? You know, it's a lot of people mistake, is that instead of like, you know, being like, I'm so sorry to hear that, can we talk? Like it happens, you know, it's not always your fault. You know, that vehicle was coming out of nowhere. Yes, you let go of your child's hand at that moment, but it's not your fault that the car didn't slow down. It's not your fault, you know, that the child ran out in front of you. Like, you tried to stop it, and the kid got loose. You know, like, you have to be passionate about the situation, compassionate about it, because we're humans, you know, it's life. And even though it's sad and tragic, you know, that's who it is. You know, like, imagine if I don't know, let's say that your kid was in the bathtub, like your 1-year-old baby, and you turn your back to get I don't know, your towels folded or whatever behind your back. Like, you're literally in the same room, you're trying to keep him safe, and in that instant he drowns and you don't realize it, and you turn around and he's dead. Like, and then you die of sadness or whatever, and like, you constantly are living this moment over and over again because you can't let it go. And then someone comes up to you and you finally get to talk to somebody, and they go, "Why are you here?" And you tell them, like, what happened. You tell them, you know, like you give them all the answers you can, and then you're like, "Oh, so your child died. Did that suck? Are you upset about it? Are you being like, are you gonna cry? Like, you know, like, imagine just someone coming to you and like just forcing these questions on you. Like, we need answers, yes, but you also need to take the time to be compassionate. Like, oh, but are you male? Are you female? And it's like, that's not what I'm trying to tell you right now. I'm trying to tell you what's wrong, and we're forgetting to listen. You know, that's especially when we already know the story, that what might be the reason they're there. We easily forget, like, hey, you know, I understand why you're here, and I want to help you. You know, they forget that. And a lot of ghost hunters, a lot of, like, and I'm not calling them out or anything, they do the way they do things, but a lot of people in general forget, you know, like, that there's a lot out there. There's a lot of a reason why it's there, and we forget to remember that they were once human as well. Though we can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist, you know, or existed. And the thing is that, I guess it's a little teaching lesson. It's like, just be a little mindful, you know. They're kind of an elder in a sense, you know. They might be 6 years old in body, but they've been around for 200 years. You know, they've seen some stuff. You know, like, treat them with respect. That's the biggest thing. Like, don't get me wrong. If there's one, like, there's opportunities and reasons to become aggressive towards a spirit. Especially if, like, one of my reasons of only becoming aggressive is if I'm getting nothing and I'm trying to get a reaction, you know. If I'm getting nothing the whole time, like, I need a reaction to see if you're actually here, you know. But it's, the other reason is, like, if someone's targeting my friends and they are being hurt because they got scratched or something, and they did nothing wrong. It's not like they were being aggressive. Like, if you're being aggressive, when you become aggressive, you have to accept the fact that you could get hurt or worse. You know, there's many cases where, you know, possessions and stuff. So if you're going to be aggressive, you become a target. So keep that in mind. But I'm the type of person, if someone's getting hurt, I mean, hold on real quick, knock on wood, I haven't really been hurt that bad when it comes to stuff. I mean, but I've been around in cases where people have gotten possessed, where people have gotten hurt so bad that they can't, like, get up, you know, because of spirits. And when that happens, that's when I get triggered. That's when I get, like, very aggressive, where it's like, hey, I am ready. You know, come out. Don't be a wimp. You know, come at me, fight me. You know, like, show yourself. You know, if you're gonna act like a big tough person, then show yourself to me. And then you know, whatever, you know, but like, target me because I don't want my friends getting hurt. Like, it's kind of always already understandable if you do it. There's always that chance. But I guess to go on and ramble a little bit more is definitely, like, I'll end this one. Just, like, be mindful, and if you're going to be aggressive, you know the consequence before you do so. Don't just do it because you watch someone on TV be aggressive and it worked. Like, not all spirits are the same. They're not one, like, I mean, they might be a collective, but, like, they're not one spirit. Like, the one spirit you talk to in one house is not the same as the one in the other house. You know, that just because a dog looks identical to another dog does not mean the same personality of the same person. You know, or same being. So keep that in mind. But one thing I have to say before I end this, because it's hitting 20 minutes, is do your research. You know, the first thing, like, I've been doing this my whole life, but when I started understanding the metaphysical world a little bit more, I learned about defense before attack. And by that I mean I learned about ways to protect myself against entities that could be trying to harm me or whatever, and I learned how to counter that. And I'm not going to really tell you those ways yet, but I will say this. There is a lot of ways to do these kind of things. It's not impossible. Nothing's impossible fully. I mean, not always, anyways. But because protection definitely helps on your kind of scenario, but can help others as well. Especially if you're trying to be aggressive, you need a way to react or counter-react when these things happen. And you have to know the signs of things happening before they happen. And a lot of that comes with experience as well. But don't be afraid to open a book and see what somebody wrote. I mean, I have books from early 1800s that explain like what they saw and what they've done. Yeah, we don't use a lot of stuff that they use now, but at the same time, the knowledge is useful, you know? It just helps. So I would suggest, you know, taking the time, if you want to be a ghost hunter or an investigator, if you are an investigator, like, just make sure to take your time to read up on some stuff. You know, you don't have to read like 50 books or anything, but just flip to a page and see what it says. You know, a little bit can go a long way. But the second thing that I've always said, and the thing that always comes to mind, don't conjure what you can't put down. And that doesn't mean like summoning per se. It does. Obviously conjure means summoning, but like it means that in like a metaphor as well. Like, don't call to like a beast summoning it to you if you can't put it down, you know? So be mindful of that, because you could be poking a bear that's bigger than you, and you could literally get everyone in the room you're with hurt if you're not smart. But saying that, however, like, don't be afraid to travel the unknown. You need the experience. You know, I've only heard of a few cases where they've ended worse than possession. But it's not impossible is what I'm saying. Just protect yourself and have fun. I went on a ramble this whole podcast because I'm, you know, solo. Honestly, this isn't even edited. I mean, it's edited to make my voice sound a little bit stronger and background noise taken away, but like, I haven't cut anything out of this. Reason I know that is because there's no spaces. I haven't really stopped for breath. So unless there was something that was super dramatic, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna keep it all. So I don't know, I had fun. It was a good way to kind of clear my head and talk. I hope it makes sense. I mean, it's a first solo podcast I've done in a long time, so I hope it's entertaining at least. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you, like, you know, how you thought of it. I might do a couple more of these as time goes, but I'm going to be honest with you, I really enjoy talking to my teammates and stuff, and just laughing and coming up with scenarios and, you know, starting up new themes and stuff as we go. And I don't know, I enjoyed it, so let me know. We do have a lot more investigations coming along in the future. I want to put out in the future more investigations than like everything else, but right now it's kind of like we're going to put these other videos out until we get more investigations. They're not as common as I want them to be just yet, until we get the funds to travel more. So we're just doing our time, doing what we can one step at a time. So just, you know, I'm not complaining. I'm honestly enjoying what we've been doing and what we will be doing, and I'm super excited for the future. But on that note, I will let you be. It is 25 minutes in, and I am going to go. So I hope everyone has a beautiful, you know, morning, evening, night. Thank you for listening on this, and make sure to check out some of the other podcasts. And remember, guys, have fun and be safe.